on an all-new Time Out. It's time for some truth with Diamond and Silk. On tonight, we sit down with Lynne Patton to have the conversation about her experience and what she observed while living in NYCHA's public housing. There is an old saying, if you want to solve a problem, you must first identify it. Lynne Patton, who is the Department of Housing and Urban Development Regional Administrator, spent 4 weeks living in New York City's public housing, exposing the most despicable, derogatory, and inhumane living conditions. Hey you all, we are here with Lynne Patton, the Regional Director from HUD, and we're here in New York to talk to her about NYCHA and so many things. Welcome to the show, Lynne Patton.
Ladies,
welcome.
United.
Yes.
It's like old times.
Old times, yes. Okay, all right. First of all, we're so happy to be here with you so that we can have a candid conversation about what's happening here in New York when it comes to NYCHA and when it comes to public housing.
Well, and I want people out there to understand that NYCHA stands for New York City Public Housing Authority. And the New York City Public Housing Authority, which is something that HUD oversees, is operated by the mayor of New York. He's sort of the landlord. And we provide the money and the funding, the fundamental money and funding for the operation and repairs.
Okay.
Look, the mayor is not doing a good job. Running this public housing authority.
All right.
The president is very upset. And so a lot of people don't understand that NYCHA is the size of the city of Miami. They say 1 in every 10 New Yorkers walking the street lives in public housing in New York. And so they are undergoing heat loss, rats, mold, roaches, pests, lead paint poisoning. Last year, about 82% of NYCHA residents lost all heat and hot water.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Now, how much money, how much federal money are they getting?
We are giving NYCHA and the mayor $30 million a week.
To make sure public housing is taken care of.
Public housing is running and smoothly and operational.
Can I just make sure I heard that right? You said $30 million
per week.
Per week.
And that's just for repairs and operations. So that does not include the additional $1.5 billion we give for vouchers, housing vouchers, things like this. Plus, we have programs that help them supplement money, such as environmental, like energy performance saving contracts and things like that. So all together, we give NYCHA and the city $2.5 billion a year.
Wow, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's a lot of money.
And that's taxpayers.
That's taxpayer dollars.
Being given.
And the President of the United States wants to know why NYCHA still looks like this when they have all of
this money.
Yes. And the good news is, there's good news. Secretary Ben Carson has appointed a federal monitor, which is kind of like a principal, to come in and oversee and make sure that the money is going to the right places. Make sure that they're buying permanent boilers so that the heat doesn't go out. Make sure that they're buying more trash compactors so that the rats don't build up. Make sure that they're hiring more people on the ground to do the repairs and less people in the offices, to basically do the stairs.
Okay, so if they're getting about 120-some million a month for this, what happened to the money before you as the regional director stepped in and said, hold up, let's...
I would like to know. And one of the things that I did find out is that between 2014 and 2016, the last administration, NYCHA spent or wasted about $341 million on overtime. Not salaries, overtime. Because a lot of these union workers, they'll hide during the day and then they'll come out. Overtime starts at 4 o'clock. And then at 4:01, they'll start working on something and really rob the taxpayer.
So they macked the system is what they did. Okay, so let me ask you this. Will anybody be held accountable for misuse of funds? Okay.
Yes, and so what we're going to do is The monitor's coming in with his team of forensic accountants. They're going to figure out where the money is going. And I personally am reviewing the report. And if there's any misuse of overtime funds, we can actually file civil charges against them and withhold, not, you know, I don't want to punish NYCHA because that's just going to punish the residents if we find them. What I want to do is find the people who are abusing the overtime, and we will withhold their federal tax return check.
Okay, to get that, pay that money back.
Years.
Okay, to pay that money back. Okay.
Whenever you first became a part of HUD, I remember something about an audit that you all did.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you just expound on that for a moment?
So, you know, there's that article going around where, you know, we found that there was over $500 million in wasteful money at HUD under Secretary Carson. You know, this president made a promise to the American people that he was going to make sure that taxpayer dollars were spent efficiently and effectively.
That's right.
And he is doing that.
Oh, yeah.
He wanted to get rid of waste, fraud, and
abuse.
That's right.
Okay,
That's
okay.
right.
So really, it was up under the Obama administration.
You know, look.
Or do we call it, or just several administrations?
Here's the problem.
Okay.
Nobody wants to challenge and push back against the unions.
Okay.
Because the unions, you know, there's a plumber union, there's an electrician union, there's a boiler union. They all run NYCHA. They do the repairs. And nobody wants to push back against them because they're running maybe for president in 2 years. And unions are big donors.
Okay.
So, you know, for you to put your own political, personal aspirations ahead of the conditions and
where
health
people
of the
live,
residents, it's
How they live.
But see, it's our tax
inexcusable.
dollars that's being abused
That's right.
here.
That's
so
right.
what do we as the American people get to say about this? Because I don't care about a union whenever you're using our tax
Thank you.
dollars and wasting it.
And can I just say that the president of the plumbers union at NYCHA makes about $480,000 a year. And lives in a giant house in Scarsdale, New York. So these are things that, you know, at the expense of the hardworking, low-income resident, citizen of this country.
Let me go back to when you talked about the money that can't be found in HUD. Was that up under the Obama administration, and it was found out up under?
Yes, and what we found was that there was just a lot of waste.
A lot of waste. Okay.
So this did occur under the Obama administration, and you all found it.
Exactly. For example, when I was in D.C., as you know, for the first 8 months as Secretary Carson's senior advisor, when I came here, you know, one of the things I oversee is homelessness. And so, obviously, homelessness is a huge problem in the United States under a lot of administrations. And I noticed that HUD gives about $200 million every year to New York for homelessness. Now, we were recapturing about $20 million, $30 million of that money back a year because it was unspent. Now, you can't tell me that there's not a purpose for it and people don't need it.
Right.
So what I did is we started this task force where we were keeping track of all the charities we give money to for homelessness. And if we see that they're not on track to spend, like let's say the $800,000 they get every year, then my team will come in and say, hey, can we help you? Why are you like drawing down your funds slowly? You know, do you need less money? Do you need more money? Do you need more staffers?
Right.
How can we help you effectuate your mission?
Right.
And what we're finding is the money's being spent, and we're able to make sure that the resources are getting to the people.
To
who
the
need
people.
them.
Okay. And it's just something nobody not skimming
It's
from the
about
top of the
because
line.
What's the point of coming back to the government?
That's right.
You know,
Right.
If you're going to tax the American people,
Yes.
the people don't mind if they know it's going to something good.
Absolutely.
That's right.
That's right.
And especially to help Americans first and not illegal
There you
aliens.
go.
Right. Okay.
Do you know I'm not even allowed to ask the status of anybody living in New York public housing or any public housing in the country?
Okay, so you can't ask the status.
No, you cannot ask on an application if somebody's an American citizen.
Okay, so they can take advantage of our tax dollars.
They do.
Okay.
And they do.
Okay.
So you got stuck in the elevator.
Yeah.
I heard you got stuck. Girl.
What was that about?
We was praying.
Yes. Oh,
You know,
yes.
thank you, girl.
Okay.
Well,
What went down?
Here's the thing.
Or did it go down?
This
Go ahead.
it eventually went down.
Okay.
The problem is that this is an everyday nightmare for NYCHA residents. Sometimes
Wow.
elderly, disabled.
Yes.
The elevators are breaking constantly. We arrested 3 people last year for falsifying elevator inspections at NYCHA Public
Oh
Housing.
my goodness.
Yeah, it's bad.
People
And
passing a buck, doing something just
passing
to
the
get
buck,
by.
You know, painting cardboard to put up on the ceiling tile because from a distance
the
it looks like
mildew.
tile. Yes, to cover
Oh,
mildew.
wow.
Sometimes when our inspectors come, they'll turn all the water off to the building so that we can't find any leaks. And so the people don't have running water while the inspectors are there. All kinds of, just a culture of deception that this monitor, appointed by Secretary Carson, is going to uncover. And I look forward to working with him and
And
make
all
sure
of
that
this was taking place under the Obama administration?
it's been taking place for, I would say it really got bad in 2011
Okay.
when they started lying to us about inspecting apartments for lead paint. They were falsifying those records,
Yes.
saying that they were doing the annual inspections that are required by HUD,
Uh-huh.
and they were not. So
Do
it's
they?
been a problem.
Okay,
for a
and
while.
this can be an off the cuff question.
Yes.
Do they realize that they've opened themselves up for a lawsuit, this New York, or
Well, you know, we filed a lawsuit, and we've been investigating them for the last 3 years.
okay,
We announced in June that we had finished our investigation, and the U.S. Attorney, who we work with together, HUD and the U.S. Attorney, announced that, you know, we found NYCHA in substantial default, and that they had to pay a penalty, meaning the city had to pay. a
right?
penalty. So the mayor is giving $2.2 billion towards NYCHA repairs over the next 10 years.
Okay, okay. To
We give NYCHA $2.5 billion per year, and a lot of people are like, the federal government needs to give more money. The federal government needs
You
to give
giving enough? They just got to do right by the money.
Well, that's right. You know, I'm not going to sign off, and I'm not going to let the secretary sign off on giving more money, and the president won't either, until we figure out where the current money is going.
Absolutely.
And making sure that it's actually going to the right things.
Right.
Like, why are you spending $341 million on overtime when that money can be going to actually hiring more people?
Right.
You know, so
right.
there is no overtime
Right.
necessary.
That's a little scam going on there.
that
That's
is
what that
a scam.
sounds like.
Cause some kickback.
yes,
Yeah. Being given a bone.
Right.
Quick question.
Yes.
Something I want to piggyback off of what you just said when
Please.
it came down to Obama in 2011, how they started lying
Yeah.
to the administration. You were referring to the Obama administration.
I
that they
sure
started
was.
lying.
Okay,
I
okay,
sure was.
all right.
I mean, and
And
by the
you
way,
are-
that's when he was running for re-election.
Re-election.
So the secretary that was at HUD at the time was appointed by him, and I really don't know who that is off the top of my head. It might have been Sean Donovan. And then the mayor of New York was in charge of NYCHA, and they're in charge of hiring the people at NYCHA. So, you know, it's a trickle down. The
Okay.
administration is responsible,
Right.
Okay,
you know, in
okay.
my mind.
Yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And what's really frustrating, ladies, is that, you know, here we come with this investigation where we uncovered all this scandal and corruption.
Uh-huh.
And then Secretary Carson appoints a federal monitor who's going to oversee
Everything.
the
Right.
operations and find all, you know, how to streamline things and fix things.
Right.
And, you know, politicals, electeds here in New York are complaining, they're upset because it's happening under the Trump administration. Change is happening under the Trump administration.
Yeah.
And you know how much I love our president.
Yes.
But if you truly care about these people, you just want change to happen.
Right.
You just want change to happen. And the fact that they hate this president so much that they would rather have these residents sit in squalor with broken elevators,
Rat
cats the size
feces
of
and-
cats.
I was going to ask.
I saw that rat size of the
I was
cat.
about to ask about the rat. I think
It looked like a
we saw
possum.
a rat with a cheeseburger walking down the roller.
Yes, I mean,
It
it's
looked
just
like
so
a possum.
Yes.
You know?
So they are so concerned about their political whatever.
Yeah,
They
right.
could care less about these people
Yes.
living like this.
Yes.
Real Americans living like this.
Tax-paying Americans, working Americans. And by the way, one of the misconceptions about public housing is that everything's given to them, that it's free. You know, people who live in public housing pay rent. They
Okay.
pay 30% of their income in
income.
rent.
Okay.
I know people who live in NYCHA that pay $1,300 a month, and that's a lot of money when you're a low-income, struggling
Absolutely.
American.
Yes, it
With
is.
kids and things. So, if you're paying that amount of money, I don't care who you are, where you work. You do not deserve to have rats in your
No.
house. You do not deserve to have black mold on your ceiling. Look, last week, Barbara and I met a man named Thomas Gilbert, who was 82 years old,
Bless his
has
heart.
not been able to use his shower in 2 years because NYCHA fixed a leak and never came back to patch up the wall and give him a shower head and these types of things, and the mold was still there. So he's been bathing in his sink for 2 years.
is so
An elderly
sad.
gentleman.
That is so
And
sad.
when we saw that, I said, I'm not leaving this place until this man has a working
That's
shower.
right. Did they
Yeah.
get him one?
They sure did.
Okay.
They sure did.
Oh, that's-
But
They got
I
him,
shouldn't have
but-
to go there
Right.
to get
Yes.
this to happen.
But you
They
know
have
what?
the money.
But okay, but you know what?
If you can fix it when I'm there, why did it take 2
That's
years
right.
to fix it?
Right.
Who else need a shower?
Thank you.
But this is what I love, especially about President Trump up under this administration.
Yes,
yes.
He cares.
Yes.
It is America first.
That's right.
Yes.
Something is going on here, and why are these people living like this here? We
That's
just
right.
need to be fixed.
Yes. That's
Because
right.
everybody else want to turn a blind eye to this
Thank
problem,
you.
and it's time to solve it.
Thank
That's
you.
right.
And when he saw me on Fox and Friends, he picked up the phone, he called Secretary Carson. He said, I want a meeting with you and Lynn right now about the conditions in NYCHA public housing.
Oh.
Yes.
Because people forget he's a New Yorker.
Uh-huh, right.
He remembers when these public housing authorities were clean, were decent. People were
Yes.
actually, they took care of, the courtyards
Yes.
and
Right,
things.
right.
There were good families that lived here. And there's still good families that live there.
Right.
And they deserve to be able to raise their kids in a place that's safe. We found out that 1,100 kids were poisoned with lead
Look at
at
that.
NYCHA.
Oh, but that makes me mad right
You
there.
know-
You getting this much money, and you mean to tell me that you're not using that to
Thank you.
take care of things, but everybody getting their pockets
you.
fat.
Yes.
And at least we're giving billions. Secretary Carson called up Governor Cuomo, asked him to contribute to NYCHA because the state also bears a responsibility too to help their citizens. And he gave $500 million
Okay. Okay.
once.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Good
that's
for
not an
him.
annual
Yeah.
contribution. That's a
Time
one-time
country.
contribution. He said,
And he,
yeah.
He's the
And by
governor
way,
of this state.
He's the governor of this state,
Right.
and he used to be the Secretary of HUD.
oh,
So he, more than anyone, knows how desperately this
knows.
money is needed, and he needs to step up and give more.
thank you all so much for
you all.
listening.
Thank you.
And thank you. I
Thank
love
my
you.
sisters.
Thank you.
Thank
y'all.
We got
Thank
this.
you.
We got
We
this.
got this.
Yes.
Thank you all for joining us tonight.
Bye.
Bye.